Yo, what's going on YouTube? So a lot of you have been asking me on Discord over the last couple of days about the nerfs regarding the rewards and if it's still worth farming this, and the too long didn't watch answer is yes. This is still by far the best way to farm endgame content in my opinion, as you can see the difference in gear I had in my previous video to the current gear I have now. Also, the other question that you guys had was what kind of build am I using regarding my spells and what am I doing to min-max my run. So this will be a more of an in-depth video guide of the 3 ways I've done this dungeon on mastering, and I'll link the timestamps down below in the description for you guys. So this is generally for new players who just unlock master mode or players who wish to level a new class. Secondly, I show you guys as a solo player how I do this run by myself, the spell I'm using and when to use them, just a basic run through with a few tips on mid-maxing your runs. And lastly, just as a group, just showing you guys the best way to maximize your run, as this is the best way to obtain a lot of drops as you're utilizing both gates. Okay, so as a fresh solo character going into master mode, you can definitely expect to die quite a bit before you actually get used to the run, especially if you're doing on a fresh character like myself in this clip. So as soon as you're done talking to Lola, go turn on the batteries and activate the gates, aka your money makers, and then head down towards the generators and activate them. I generally like to start with laboratory, crossroad and then graveyard, as the laboratory generator is the first one usually that gets destroyed, so that will give me enough time to run back and defend it. Then what you want to do is you want to head back to your gates and just fish for mobs and pull them to your gates, as you want them to be doing all the work for you. So pretty much at this point all there is left to do is just maintaining the generators. Okay, so here's a trick that you can do as a low level character to help you out. If at any time you're getting overwhelmed by mobs and you can't pull them away from your battery so you can get your score back up, what you can do is a hard reset, and what that means is pretty much getting yourself killed. So what happens is when you die, all the mobs around you will disappear, therefore giving you time to get yourself back up again, run to the gate and then set yourself back up again. Now this works for every single mobs except for the boss. This trick however does not work in group play. So as soon as you reach your desired score, you can just go around, pull all the mobs in the battery room and then just leave them there. However, if you want to min-max your loot, and what you can do here is with 1 minute left on the timer, you can go around pulling all the mobs or just tagging them, which is just hanging on the outside of the map. And then you just want to make your way back to the battery room, wait until the timer ticks down to 0, and then just flipping the switch will kill all the mobs for you on the map. Then all you have to do is just pretty much run around and pick up your loot. Okay, so as a solo player there's not much difference in terms of how we do this dungeon as a gear player. However, there's a few things I do to min-max my run to get the most loot. Firstly, it's the spell that I take with me. I make sure that regardless of what element I use, I want to make sure that to have some sort of CC or taunt spell to pull the mobs into the gate. So this is one of the spells I use for all my builds. It's called Leech Outbreak, as it has an AoE taunt and also deals damage to mobs. Even though it doesn't state that it does have taunt, but you can see once you cast it on a pack of mobs, you have aggro and all you have to do is pretty much just kite them into your gates. And again, remember, if you're getting overwhelmed, you can always use that reset method to clear up your battery room to set yourself up again. So at this time of recording of this video, I was pretty much good enough to run around and farm the mobs thanks to the runs I've been doing in the last couple of days. There is a few mobs that you kind of want to keep an eye out for besides the boss. These are the legendary mobs, as they generally do seem to have a high chance of drop rate of amazing loot. Now finally with the groups. It is probably the best way to obtain the maximum amount of drops due to the fact that you can utilize both gates and have someone to pull the mobs for you. If you can try to set this up with a group of friends or people you know, as this will probably run a lot smoother and more efficient. Okay, so what you want to do here is to have 2 players, 1 on each gate and 1 runner to pull the mobs that pretty much lingers on the outside of the maps. If you have voice comm, be sure to call it out or even type in chat about any boss or legendary mobs that you need assist with, or pretty much just let them know that where the drops are. The players who are defending the gates can leave at any time especially when there is no mobs or you're waiting for the mobs to be kited to you. You can just go around picking up all the loot, especially on the other side that the other players have killed, as the loot generally stays on the map for quite a while. Now as a runner, what you want to make sure is you want to go around pulling on the mobs, tagging them. Just take note that pretty much you don't have to wait for them to come to you, you just need to make sure that they're not idle or just hanging around there. And the other thing you need to do is pretty much just reactivate any generators, because as a group you can easily get gold rank, so you want to try to min-max this as well to get the most points that you can out of the run. Doing this as a group, you can see how efficient it is due to the mass CC and damage you can output as a team, therefore allowing you to have more loot from the dungeon. Towards the end of the time, when your group wants to make sure to go around tagging all the mobs that's still drifting around the edge of the map, and then just flipping the switch, and then all that's left to do is pretty much just go around and pick up all the loot. Just make sure that to wait for others to finish looting before you click on the chest. Just don't be a dick. However, with groups, it's generally either hit or miss, because sometimes you either get people AFKing or just being rude by not waiting at the end for other people to finish collecting the loot. So when you do get decent players throughout your run, make sure you add them so that you guys can group together in the future, just making your run a lot easier from now on. Anyway, so I hope this answers and clears up some of the questions that you guys had, but having said that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment below or just PM me. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.